2024 is in our rearview mirror, and we ring in the new year 2025 with a memorable winter snowfall. February is just ahead. Valentine's Day is approaching fast. In Loveland, Ohio, the land of love, that means it's time to meet the 2025 Loveland Valentine Lady. Hello everybody, I'm Chuck Gibson, and this is Loveland Beacon Talks. Today I'm pleased to introduce our honored guest, Lynn Oury, your 2025 Loveland Valentine Lady. So welcome, Lynn Oury. Thank you for joining us here on Loveland Beacon Talks. And Lynn Oury, 2025 Loveland Valentine Lady. How does that feel?
Oh, I'm honored and humbled, truly, to have this. I feel very fortunate. I'm very happy about it.
Well, I know even before we started, you and I, we were kicking around because, you have some kind of Detroit ties, and I do, and we were talking about, it's exciting to see the Detroit Lions. Yeah. But again, the most exciting thing right now is Lynn Oury, 2025 Valentine Lady here in Loveland. So, there's a story. There's always a story every year, So is it something you expected, knew about, or how did you find out? What happened?
Well, I knew I was nominated.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of a long story, but I was having some issues with my email, and I really didn't find out until the day before the luncheon. I said, "Oh, that's nice," and they said if you are not interested, let us know, because there is quite a lot of things to do as the Valentine Lady.
Well, you know what? I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah. So that's a neat. So they actually say, if it's not something you think you'd want to do.
That if you are unable, because in the months of January, February, there's a lot of, you visit the schools and the lodge. We stamp the Valentines at the post office, at La Rosa's is this week. So there's a lot of So there's a lot of things to do. But anyway, when they said that I was nominated, I was like, oh, sure. I mean, I'd be honored. Yeah, I'd be honored.
And you actually learned that the day before the luncheon.
I did.
And all you learned then was, like, I've been nominated, and yes, I'm willing if you guys choose me.
Yes.
And so then you go to the luncheon.
And then I think it was Becky Giver.
Okay. Yeah.
So because she was
last year's Valentine Lady,
and
right.
she is a friend of mine.
Valentine Lady 2024 and for life.
Yes, and for life.
Yeah,
that's right, and for life. So she said, we have Valentine Ladies here at our lunch, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, Yeah. And then said it was me, so I was honored. It was exciting.
So you hear that,
right?
I love that. You just said, oh, that's cool. And then they said, and it's Lynn Oury.
Yeah. And you're like, what? Yeah. So my neighbor a couple houses down this summer, she's young. She went to Moorhead, which is where I graduated.
Oh, yeah.
We were in the same sorority. So we're walking from an event, and she asked me if I would be interested. She said, I'm going to nominate you as Valentine Lady. Would you be interested? I said, oh, sure. So it was her that nominated me.
So now, and that's fine. You beat me to it, because I was going to say, do you know who nominated you?
Yes.
And then so what's her name?
Mindy Caudell.
Mindy Caudell.
Yes.
All right.
She's a teacher at Felicity.
Oh, okay.
And her husband grew up in Moorhead. So, so she nominated me, and she contacted teachers I worked with. So they knew that I was nominated, never said anything to me, so so it's kind of cool.
I think one of the biggest parts is this whole, the nomination, and I guess learning about the nomination, but then ultimately, that surprise, the luncheon, and they drop it on you. That's every year. That to me is that's just so much fun.
It is so much fun, and maybe the most fun for me personally is going to the schools.
Well,
getting with the students, reading books, and seeing my teacher friends.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, especially for you, I mean, it's a trip back home.
Yeah, it is.
Home for how many years has been the classroom
Right.
teaching.
Yes.
And the kids and
Yes.
again, also the fellow faculty members and
Right,
things like
right.
that. So, I mean, it was just a minute ago you were still teaching.
This is my second full year
I was
of
going to say, it was
retirement.
just
So,
like,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
just like a
yeah,
minute ago I
yeah.
was still teaching.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I'm not surprised. And that would have been, you know, that's one of the questions that I always ask of the Valentine ladies. You know, what is the thing, you know, going forward in serving as a Valentine lady that most excites you? You know, you've touched on it, going back into the classroom,
Yeah.
you know, reading to the kids.
Right.
And for you, seeing some old friends, some old
Yes,
teachers. That
and
you
some of
taught with.
my previous students that I've had.
Yeah.
That's just really a joy. So, and the teachers, and yeah, so I'm really and I'm also, you know, looking forward to spreading the joy of Loveland. I mean, we live in such a great community, Chuck. You know that continues to grow, and in my opinion, for the better. They offer so much. So I'm excited to be able to talk about all the what I call the coolness of Loveland.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what we have and what we offer and what makes it special.
Well, you know, I was going to say maybe for you, and you have to answer this question. Do you feel like, you know, that it adds to it having a little bit of a unique perspective? One, you know, you're married to Neil,
Right.
who grew up here in Loveland.
Right, yes,
So he,
yes.
you know, so you, despite the fact that you didn't grow up here in Loveland, you know those stories and that history and the traditions of this community, which personally I would say myself, and I know you say the same thing. This is a family.
Yes.
You know, Loveland. You know, for the listeners, this might, I don't know, some will know this, some will come as a surprise, but for Chuck Gibson, you know, first of all, the Detroit area, but moved here, went to high school at Anderson, and then
okay.
lived in Anderson Township
Okay.
forever and ever, amen.
Okay.
And I loved Anderson
Right.
Township, and I was not particularly thrilled with the idea of moving.
Right.
I did it because my wife's work, you know, she needed to be closer to where she worked, and it didn't matter for me,
Right.
because I'm all over the place.
Right.
But anyhow, she found a place in Loveland, and here we came to Loveland, and I never thought, you know, that anything would mean as much to me here in the Cincinnati area as Anderson Township did.
Right.
And Anderson, my family in Anderson, Loveland surpassed it.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and so, but anyway, getting back to, sorry, I just digress.
That's all right. That's okay.
But you know, I mean, it as you said, I know it too. But do you feel like it's kind of a you know, puts you in a unique position with that connection with Neil, A, lifelong,
Right.
and then B, he has also served this community as a council member,
Right.
And there's, you know, you maybe get some insights from that. Do you feel
Yeah.
like that's
Oh,
been a special
absolutely.
piece?
And I come from a small town like Loveland, so I've said it feels like I've always been home.
Yeah.
When I live here,
Oh.
and that is the truth. And I came from people who gave back. My mom was very much like that, and my dad. So I saw that. You know, I saw that, and I thought I knew that that's something I wanted to do. And again, going back to Neil too, giving back to the community, doing it, I hope humbly, and you know, just kind of, you know, giving your what you're interested in. The beautification committee I was on, and now I'm working with the Loveland Learning Garden. So. Yeah, the opportunities are endless, really, about, and we're so lucky where we live because we walk down to Loveland, and it keeps us connected. You know what I mean? So.
No, absolutely. And again, another side note, the Chuck thing is, so I don't walk down into Loveland.
Right.
You know, I kind of did, but since moved, still Loveland, but not, you know, walk down like you. And it does make a difference. Because there were times when, you know, when I lived essentially just walked down the hill into Loveland, sometimes I just did that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, you know what? I just go walk down and see what's going on.
Right.
And,
and you do know what's going on. You're more connected, in my opinion.
Yeah. You definitely
You know,
feel it.
Compared to people who don't live as close to downtown Loveland, they, you know, for whatever reason, they don't know all that.
Well, so ultimately, the answer is, you know, what you're looking most forward to is truly serving, you know, at the schools. But that overall, you're looking forward to being the ambassador of Loveland for this year as the Valentine Lady. As much as anything, that's the mission of the Valentine Lady.
Absolutely.
So, have you, and I don't want you to give something away if you don't
Okay.
want to, but what can you share about, like, have you thought about, have you written something up, you got notes, or are you going to wing it when you go to the schools? When you go to the schools and talk to the kids, what's your message that you feel comfortable telling us now? You know?
Well, my message is, and I'm going to read a book.
Right.
Because as a Valentine lady, and it's Valentine's Day, about love, the books I've chosen are kind of about that. Connections with friends and with, your family.
Yeah. That's the theme.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And, so I'm,
Not about the little red engine that could.
Well, that could be it. That could be it. But,
well, no, that's okay. But I mean, a little bit of a different tilt.
Yeah. So
it's not going to be monsters and Star Wars.
No. And I have quite a library of books, so I knew immediately what I was going to read. And as far as
you started to say the grandchildren.
Yeah, I did, because I read to my granddaughter my favorite book. She knows all about.
How in the world are you a grandmother?
I know, right? That happens. Yeah, it happens.
I have no comment.
It's great. It's great. Yeah.
So. Yeah. It's like, seriously, I think my youngest, because too many grandchildren already. Not too many, but a lot. More than people would think. Yeah. So he just joined the Air Force.
Ooh, that's cool.
Finished the boot camp, and then he's tech school, because he went to Loveland High School,
right.
And part of that, they can get ahead.
Right.
So he was already doing like cybercrime stuff, because he's a computer whiz.
Wow.
And so then he started at UC and switched to go join the Air Force. So he's actually going to be Space Force cyber.
Ooh,
and
interesting.
So he graduated boot camp and is now in tech school. He's been in tech school the last 6 weeks. And the coolest thing was that he got to come home. I mean, he's brand new, but he got to come home for Christmas.
Nice.
We didn't necessarily expect that.
Yeah.
But then he's back. He had to be back on Sunday.
Okay.
And then back to tech school.
Yeah.
And his comment on the way out was, if I do everything right, I'll be graduated from tech school in 6 weeks, and then he'll get his first assignment, which he knows is going to be in Illinois.
Okay,
but
that's not too far. Cool.
But it's getting back. So like I heard you say grandchildren.
Yeah.
So and it's so funny because like you got the library. We still have the grandchildren's library, even though he's like going to be he'll be 22 in April.
Sure,
so it's like what the heck happened there? But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you got some good books to choose from.
Yeah, and I've already kind of picked them. But I wanted part of the conversation with the kids is how do you, giving back to your community is really what it is.
Yeah.
Is really what we are called to do, what we should be doing.
Right.
And as a result of that, I think is maybe one of the reasons I was nominated. And certainly you don't do it for recognition, but giving back, seeing where you can help, much like I will tell the kids, like at home, what do I need to do around here to help my mom or my dad,
Right.
and then it's kind of that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my take on it.
That, that's an important lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
And it's certainly one that, we as parents/grandparents,
right.
Like to pass along.
Right.
Refresh my memory. So in terms of going to the schools, what grades do you visit? You visit the high school kids, or do you?
Preschool? No, not.
I was going to say
not high school. Preschool through 4th grade is what I'll be visiting. So I'll be going to LECC, LPS, and LIS, and then also Children's Meeting House, St. Columban, which is where my kids went to school,
right?
And Pop Kids.
That's home base too.
Yeah,
St. Columban
so I was excited about that.
Yeah.
I'll have to look, but I think it's preschool to 4 there too.
Should be.
Yeah, I would. I think so.
I would guess.
So yeah.
So, but you said Montessori also, St. Columban, obviously the Loveland schools.
Yes.
And then
Tender Years. That's where my kids went to preschool.
PK,
and to Pop Kids, the Presbyterian Church
that was
preschool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say I heard you say that. I just want to remember.
Yeah.
So then the other question, something came to mind. you touched on something interesting, and so then I lost the
Well,
question.
I'll go to the lodge. I mean, I don't know if that
Right.
was something.
Yeah.
And Magnolia, I
Magnolia
believe.
Springs, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and you said already, and as we sit here, you know, we and by the way, you know, at your home recording this,
Right.
Looking outside at some beautiful snow
Yeah,
scenes.
yeah, right.
Some people might not think it's so beautiful because they had to shovel, you know.
Right,
We all
right,
had to do that.
right.
Maybe the roads were tough for some people, but as we sit here on Tuesday, kind of the day after
Right.
the big snowstorm, you mentioned you're at I guess Loveland La Rosa's this week.
This week,
Is that
I think.
right?
I want to say Thursday.
I would say.
Yeah. I want to say Thursday. Yeah.
So what? So
Range.
and then ultimately, obviously, the Valentine Lady stuff. Well, I know officially Saturday.
Yes.
You'll have the big event.
An introduction.
Yeah. Official
As it were
introduction.
at City Hall.
Right.
Also, I'm not sure if it's going to be a week from today. The next at a council meeting. So it's
I
either
see.
this coming council or the next one,
Yeah.
where they will.
So
introduce
Saturday at City Hall
Yes.
is a public introduction.
Yes.
Of Lynn Oury as the 2025
Yeah.
Loveland Valentine
Yeah,
Lady. Still like
yeah.
hearing that.
Yeah,
See that
it's-
smile light
it's-
up your face.
It's pretty cool.
But for people that hear this beforehand, so that is at City Hall Saturday
At 11.
11 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's brief. I don't think it's
Right.
going to be very long. And so I'm meeting with Becky Giver tomorrow. She's going to give me the skinny on how this all
Break it down.
works.
Oh, and I recall. So there was one other question. So you know who nominated
Yes.
you? Did you get to hear the nomination letter, or you haven't heard that yet?
No, I have
Okay.
not.
Well, I know.
That'll be
I know
cool,
down
won't
the
it?
road you're going to get to hear that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody bragging about you.
Yeah. Well, and a couple of my teacher friends at LECC said Mindy got a hold of one of her son's kindergarten teacher and said, "Hey, can you do me a favor and put the plug out there and let me know, give me some stuff about Lynn
Yeah.
Oury." So they did.
Well, see, it's better than dying and then somebody says it when you're already
Yeah,
dead.
right.
So you get the living eulogy,
Yes.
so to speak.
Yeah, I guess so.
But that, and again, you know what? I think it's funny because, and I know you're very humble, but it will, at the same time, I'm sure it'll touch your heart.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like how cool is that to get to hear,
Yeah.
some people's thoughts about
Yeah.
the things, and maybe you've touched some lives in a certain way.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
So.
That's
But-
special. And that I was going to the schools and reading, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's the standing up, when they start doing like what you just
Not your
said.
thing?
I'll
So we're going to get. You are going to get to meet the public speaker version of Lynn Oury.
Oh, I guess so.
You've been carrying around with you all these years,
Yeah.
and you just didn't know she was there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Not nervous at all, right?
Oh, well, yeah, that's the thing I'm going to talk to Becky about too. So
Yeah.
what's been, what do you,
Well, congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
Again.
Thank you so much.
I absolutely wish you all the best in the coming year.
Thank you.
Of course, I have no. You don't really need those best wishes because I know,
Oh.
you'll do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
That's because again, like you said yourself, the biggest part is that going into the schools,
Right.
and just hearing you, reiterate that it's Loveland,
Right.
and the message of love and caring
Right.
for one another
Yeah.
and giving back.
Giving back, yep.
So
That's
how
what it is.
how can you miss
Yeah.
delivering that message
Yeah.
to second grade, like 7 to 11-year-olds or something like that.
Well, preschool too,
basically
preschool.
4-year-olds to
3-year-olds,
10-year-olds or
yeah.
whatever. Fourth
Yeah.
grade. I don't
Yeah.
know what fourth grade is anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's 10.
I think so.
Something like that.
I would say so.
But
Yeah.
how can you miss?
Right.
So you'll have. And I do know I've been here in Loveland and writing the Loveland stories for
Okay.
so many years now. Probably not enough years, but so many years, including the Loveland Valentine Lady.
Okay.
And you know this. They always say, especially because how close you are with like Kay Bolin.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and just
Oh,
everybody before Kay and
Yeah.
everybody since Kay,
Yeah.
the Loveland Valentine Ladies, and I can't remember like the first one that I did. I should remember all their names, but I don't. But the one common theme is how much fun they had.
Yeah, that's what all the Valentine ladies have said. Have fun with it.
Right.
Have fun with it. So
yeah.
I think I know I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because
So my message in terms of, since you said I can go read to the kids, but maybe the appearances they might feel a little different.
Yeah.
So
have fun with it.
Well, have fun with it, and don't forget to breathe.
Yeah. Good one. Good. Just relax. Yeah. Just relax.
Breathe and have fun.
Yeah.
That's Chuck's advice.
I appreciate that.
Let me know what Becky tells you.
Okay, I will.
But again,
she'll probably say the same thing.
Somewhere in that, she will definitely tell. There's no question it's going to be have fun with it. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm stealing a quote from one of the Valentine's ladies because it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's been a blast for me to get to meet them and talk to them about it each year. So I know they just. And you're just another one of the great representatives.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Lynn, for taking the time to visit with us here, even if it's in your own dining room with beautiful snow scenes out the window. Appreciate your taking the time.
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it.
Have a great year.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Valentine's Lady, Lynn Oury, 2025 Loveland Valentine's Lady.
That's it. Thank you.
Lynn Oury, 2025 Loveland Valentine Lady. Thank you for joining us here on this edition of Loveland Beacon Talks. We look forward to seeing you all around town sharing your special message of love throughout the Valentine season and the whole year in our land of love. Remember, everybody, Lynn will be officially introduced to the public at a brief ceremony in City Hall this Saturday morning, January 11th at 11 a.m. All are welcome to come out and meet your 2025 Valentine Lady. I'm Chuck Gibson, saying thanks for listening. Loveland Beacon Talks is a presentation of Loveland Beacon Digital Media and Gibson Communications, LLC.